let's be honest about it, the most important outcome of this European Council was one thing. That was the nomination of Jean-Claude Juncker as candidate president of the European Commission. And I don't understand all the criticism that has been put forward to Mr. Pittella in saying that's not democratic. The procedure is exactly the same as David Cameron is nominated in the British Parliament. So I don't see any problem. I recognize the British democracy as a real democracy, and it is time also to recognize that this Parliament is the real European democracy of the European continent. So, instead of criticizing this, I think it's a big victory for the European Parliament, but not so much for the European Parliament, Mr. President, but for the European democracy and the European citizens that Mr. Juncker has been proposed. And we are now, in my opinion, entering in fact what I call a second phase of the process, because it's to Mr. Juncker now, as it is also the case in the British Parliament and in the British democracy, to find a majority around him, to make a coalition around him. And in my opinion, it has to be a broad coalition, a stable coalition, a pro-European coalition and majority of people and of groups who want to negotiate a programme and who want to have a new strategy of change for this European Union. And when I'm talking about change, I'm talking about real change. Not what Mr. Kamal has said is calling for. He has used, I think, at least 10 times the word change is an intervention, but what he is calling change, I'm calling it blocking all progress. It's going out of the euro, it's breaking up Schengen, it's stalling labour mobility, it's abandoning all European common policies. So less integration, less Europe. That's no change, that's regression, dear colleagues. Regression it is. No. What does it mean, the word conservative? Well, nothing, yeah, that's a good explanation. But if it means anything, that it means it's status quo. Conservatism is status quo, and that is what we don't want with this European Union today. I can only say one thing. I have seen Mr. Juncker, together with Mr. Schulz, and together with Ska Keller, who is not there, and with Mr. José Bové, in all the debates for this European Parliament. He has been fully involved in this European election. I didn't see you in this European election. I didn't see even Mr. Cameron in this European election. After the European election, he came forward to say that a number of things have to be changed, that Mr. Juncker could be nominated. So, in my opinion, this is real European democracy, these debates and this public opinion.